Cool. Then, as everyone on the podcast, tell us who you are and what you do.
True. Hey, my name is Jess, and I am a voice actress. I'm a live stream musician on Twitch and a vocalist as well. And so, just in the territory of Twitch, I'm a variety streamer, so I kind of do it all. I'm a big video game fan, so especially a big Nintendo fangirl. The Legend of Zelda is my favorite series. So getting this, just an audio person through and through, between my voice, between my music, I'd love to share more of this auditory pleasure straight to your ears.
I was, because you wrote me this this message on Discord.
Oh man, I sent you a wall of text. I'm such a noob at this, you can tell.
No, it was fine. It was just like, oh, this wall of text, and I just, what?
Right, a little intimidating there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, your perfect response. What? I was so embarrassed. My face all red. What about this first impression? And maybe not the best of first impressions, just screaming into your ear all of this information.
No.
You couldn't process as a human, but perhaps you are more than human, so maybe you could still, but it's pretty overwhelming.
Don't tell them. No,
the personal mythos, we won't say anymore. We'll keep a mystery.
Yeah. So, because I was wondering, like, oh, okay, voice actress, like, games and anime, I was thinking about one specific guy on YouTube that does, like, a lot of interviews with voice actress and voice actors.
Oh, really?
And that's called Gamertron Show, or Gamertron. And have you heard about him?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've not been really into the YouTube world. Okay. I'm kind of starting to dabble my toes, but yeah, a great resource.
How much YouTube do you watch? Like, how much do you know about YouTube?
Like, back in the day, so when it first came out, like, 2008, 2009, just starting out, I would be watching a lot of YouTube just as a kid, and I think I ended watching YouTube probably when, like, PewDiePie was just starting out, when he started the Amnesia, The Dark Descent with Mr. Cher and, like, all of the hilarity there. So I think that's kind of where I dropped off, though. So after watching him play Amnesia, I got really into horror games, and I really love this immersive, survival horror where you don't have guns a-blazing, and so you can't really protect yourself. You have to use your wits about you. Mm-hmm. So, that really inspired to play games myself, more PC games. I was always into Nintendo, but to dive more into, indie horror, just regular horror video games. And I haven't really been on YouTube since. Of course, it's a video hosting site. So I've been on YouTube, looking up tutorials or, just average, if I'm looking for a certain video consumption, but otherwise not really avidly, like, as a hobby, being on YouTube. Yeah. But
No, please go on.
Well, so now I'm starting to try to dip my toes once more into the YouTube world. A lot has changed. A lot has definitely changed from maybe the golden era of YouTube. But I have all of this content I produce on Twitch. And while it's a fantastic resource for, live interaction, I'm right there with you. You can, we get that live feedback together. But when I'm not live, what if you want to experience some of my content then? So I've been slowly putting up my ukulele covers on YouTube as this kind of start to my presence on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, I would heavily disagree that this has changed. Like, it maybe has changed, like, on a superficial level. Sure, like, the UI is, like, nothing compared. Like, there's no customization anymore for the YouTubers themselves. Like, it's basically a corporate site. But, like, the content, like, if you go on the underbelly of YouTube, it's like people that are, like, 500 views or, like, a sub 1K, you can see the old stuff that people enjoyed that is not being pushed anymore. One thing that is weird that is happening to me right now is, like, after a year of constantly watching new stuff that has, like, 0 views or in 0 subscribers, I'm getting recommended this stuff. And it's, like, so weird because it's basically now the system that YouTube put in place, basically is saying if you watch something long enough, it will start recommending it. Started triggering after 1 year, which is like, oh, you have to have some commitment to actually watch the things you want to watch.
Wow. Right.
Otherwise, it's gonna just recommend you something else.
Right. I would think that the learning algorithm, like to learn, what I would like to listen to next, would improve over time. That makes sense, especially with more money putting into this, the more corporate, as you say, being put into this.
But it seems more like a fight.
That's interesting to say a year.
Yeah, it seems more like a fight. Like I have to fight the algorithm until it started recommending me stuff that I wanted to watch.
Yeah, and I feel like it shouldn't be a fight because it's a win-win situation. If you get the content you would like to look at, you're on the website, you're supporting the website and the advertisements. So I think, maybe that's something they would look into or would need to look into to maybe make that algorithm a little more personalized for you as a consumer of videos.
Yeah, I have several different ideas why I think it's done that way or why it's like that. For example, why would you push someone that has is on a platform for a year and has 10 videos? Why would you ever do that? The algorithm has no interest because they know they will not produce any content anymore or will not produce content as regular. So the algorithm is gonna rank you way, way down and no. On the other hand, if you make content for 6 years and you're pretty consistent, monthly or weekly or whatever, then the algorithm will say, he produces stuff that people watch, so we're gonna push it. Sometimes just YouTube just pushes, the algorithm sparks out, nobody knows what's happening, and it just something happened. It's weird. There are no rules. There's no rule. There are no rules. The rules are not really clear, and even the people working at YouTube, they probably don't know what's happening either.
And you have programming a background, so you would understand maybe more the underlying mechanisms of how you could implement such algorithm to help people.
I'm not like the specialized programmers that have algorithm backgrounds. They work with that day in, day out. But the problem is always you can do an algorithm, but the algorithm is only going to be as good as the training data. So if you have there's several examples of that. One example I like to bring up is always the one algorithm was there to figure out if it was a dog or wolf, and the algorithm was so good it predicted if it recognized if it was a dog or a wolf 100% of the times. And then people started, how can this be? How can this happen? And then they realized, all the wolf backgrounds were with snow, and all the dog backgrounds were something else. So
oh no, what about a snow dog?
Yeah, the algorithm
Husky.
wasn't. But the algorithm wasn't detecting wolf or dog. It was detecting snow background, no snow background, which is basically the algorithm is only as good as the training data. So if you have shitty training data, you're gonna have a shitty algorithm.
Right.
And now imagine
how would you get training data for YouTube?
Exactly. Now imagine a gigantic platform with 2 billion users and so many video hours per day. Try to train a good algorithm on that training set. It's impossible. Everyone that attempts it is probably crazy or doesn't understand what they're actually doing.
It's a daunting task. I mean, to try to predict what a human would like to watch next, and every human is so critically different from one another. That's a challenge.
But I also think the algorithm is a little bit of a myth, because if you think about it, YouTube is doing the rules. It's basically they are setting the rules, and then they are telling the people, you have to do stuff like this. But you're setting rules. But you're not telling us the rules, but you are giving us a little bit of hints. Like if you go to for YouTube, for example, YouTube Academy, which is the videos they produce to tell you what works and not works on YouTube. But they never tell you exactly what the rules are. They just give suggestions. You have to be this way and that way. But they never really tell what you like. But they hold the power. It's they are making the rules. At the same time, they're telling you have to do a certain way. But they never tell you the exact rules, how it actually works. Not because they don't understand it. It's because they want to keep this air of mystery around this whole algorithm thing. It's not a mystery. People that deal with that, they know what's it's a weird mess. I know it. Everyone knows it. I have one personal example, which I had two videos about big companies where I just basically tell how bad they are. And one was about YouTube, and the other one was about Disney. The one got like, I don't know, 500 views, and the other one got 40. And I'm like, okay. Definitely not weird that the YouTube one doesn't get as many views as the other one.
Right. I actually did watch that video. It was a very interesting video and a lot of great concepts you brought up there too.
It's that the training this data set I have is too small to make any conclusive statement. Okay, but I have seen other videos that are way bigger that have basically the same concept. Videos that criticize YouTube have been suppressed in the past. Let's say like that.
Well,
and it's
conflict of interest, right?
Yeah. So the algorithm, when we talk about that, like that is not more than just math, like just mathematical equations on top of each other. And I think it's a little bit of like a myth that it's actually provides any help. It's more like if someone at YouTube wants to make you successful, they're gonna make you successful. Because they have the power to do it. Like they can flip a switch just push your shit. It's
right.
Yeah.
You're uploading your videos onto their website, you know.
Yes.
So you kind of like you want to uphold, or they want to share the message they want to uphold because they have the power. They have your videos, our videos.
Basically, gaslighting. Basically, corporate gaslighting. That's what it is.
I don't know if I like that, but that is a very accurate representation. It's not. Yeah, a complete freedom of speech, no. But it's a private corporation, you know. So
yeah, I wouldn't.
They're the ones paying for everything.
Yeah, I heard that
to be able to upload it.
I heard that as well, but at some point you have to accept that Google and YouTube are not like they don't deserve to be private anymore because they're so big. They're basically a commodity. Like who is this Bing? Who is this Bing? Like 1% of the population. Like Google is at this point not a public service. At this point a public service. It's like
right.
No one says
for video sharing. Who else is there?
Nobody. Like there's no one like other than YouTube. Like there's like BitChute and Library and all this Clipfish and Vimeo, but like they're not playing in even the same universe, you know. Like Clipfish is playing on the playground on Earth, and like YouTube is like commanding the whole fleet on on Planet X or whatever.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that. The other one,
Clipfish, yeah. Cool. This is an older site, I think. But yeah, like at this point, yeah, sure, it's a private company, but at this point, Google and YouTube are public services, and I don't think they deserve the mantle. Because they are private, they can do whatever they want. They are not designated. They are so monumental that it's not like it doesn't make sense for them to even be private anymore. They shouldn't, to be honest. Like, what do you do?
How would we enforce that? Or what?
That's another topic.
No, that would not fly.
Yeah, that would not fly.
I think I'd like to keep my profits. I'm going to keep all of my power. Yeah, but that's true. That's an important thing to bring up, you know, this monopolization of video sharing and how to, you know, prevent that being taken advantage of.
Yeah. And it's like, I do understand because we don't want a government that can basically control information flow. So a government branch basically having the information flow, then you get China, which they have a state-led YouTube basically.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance. What the future will hold. Yeah.
Yes. It's very tricky. I don't even know myself. I just know that big corporations bad. That's the only thing I can say. Big or bad.
Holding big power. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry. I get very political. I try to avoid it, but it's like everything is connected to politics, and I think
it's important though. Yeah. I mean, that's our livelihood. That is, you know, talking about our rights as a human, as an individual. This is important, and moving forward, everything is unprecedented, of course, because it's all new territory.
Yeah.
So how we find ourselves through this all new territory, we need to set definitions. We need to set, priorities, or we need to set, just certain things need to be in place in order to have freedoms, in order to be able to speak out, you know, freedom of speech, and these basic human freedoms need to be there. And it's very important. I wouldn't discredit, you know, the political aspects of our lives.
Yeah. So if you have not been on YouTube like as a creator, definitely not that for long. So what is your experience so far?
That's a really great question, because so originally I'm like, well, I have, almost nobody's looking at me on YouTube. I'm just going to be putting one video per day of my music covers, and it's kind of just like an archive, a storage for someone if you would like to listen to me offline. So I haven't really been, like marketing or networking or anything until now. But just kind of putting my videos out there for no particular audience other than my Twitch following. It's interesting. So I do get some comments on my YouTube videos, which is surprising as I haven't really been advertising it. But these comments, I'm starting to realize, are less human than I first originally would anticipate.
Have you already acquainted with Logan? Sound, music.
I thought we were going to be best friends, me and Logan. We're going to be YouTube pals, whatever that means. I'm not really sure what that means, but
have you met him already?
I have met them already. And then now they've actually disappeared from some of my videos, some of these first commenters. Mm-hmm. So I assume maybe they've been caught as bots that are obviously, just sending out these messages out into the world. Yeah.
Well, I reported.
So that was an interesting first experience with YouTube commenters.
Well, it's it's not as uncommon as people might think. And whenever I see like a bot comment, like I just instantly report the channel, because fuck that channel, honestly.
Well, yeah, you're manipulating, you're taking advantage of people who might be unassuming, who don't know. You know, you're actually, you're doing this for malicious reasons. Yeah. This is a genuine human contact.
Exactly. And I've seen, like, in the past, and I've discovered myself, people that, like, completely viewbotted and subbotted their channel. And it's pretty apparent. You can see, like, the views and comments and likes don't match up. So you have, like, one video has, like, 50k views, but only 18 likes and 5 comments. Like, it's probably not. If the creator didn't delete all the comments, it's probably not real. It happens. Then there are also cases where it's like it's completely real, but it's just like, how the fuck did it happen? Like, one example that you always bring up is like Out of Sight, which is like one which is in the indie scene with me basically, and he made one video and a second video, then he vanished forever. Or 9 months. It's been like 6 months since he uploaded the last video, and there's no connection, like there's no social media connected, so I can't get in contact with him. However, his first video got like 500,000 views, which is like, okay, fine, good. But like without prior following, not just like the site just decided to push this video for no apparent reason. And just like, then things
the
like
gods or the YouTube gods have blessed you.
Exactly. And sometimes these things happen, but his video is pretty real. Like, there's no like things that is weird about it. So yeah, like there are these two sides, these two extremes. Like sometimes just like, okay, it's completely botted, and the other side's like, oh, it's just like random luck. Have you any?
Curious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about your channel is like, it's just a lot of videos, and it's just one type of video. So I assume like someone that likes ukulele covers will at some point come around your videos. The only thing I can notice immediately is like, oh yeah, it's like you're doing basically all the rookie mistakes, which is basically.
Well, I am a rookie, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, which is basically okay. You have like the profile picture and the banner, and they're like, oh, they don't even have like a similar color palette, and then you have like. And none of your videos have like thumbnails, and none of your videos are like properly like tagged and all this stuff. Which is basically, I always steer away from that. I say people like don't care, you shouldn't care about all this stuff until you get like a certain amount of views. But it's like it's preparing your channel for success. Basically, that's what I tell people.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Because
I definitely understand
that. For small YouTubers, there are basically 3 hubs. The one is like YouTube itself. Then there's the subreddit, and then there's something like Twitter and Facebook. We forget because Facebook is completely
Yeah.
intransparent,
I've abandoned that one.
and you can
Yeah.
I don't understand how I might be a boomer. I can't understand how to navigate to Facebook. So yeah. Like I immediately noticed, okay, there are a lot of rookie mistakes. It's like, but the covers,
Right.
but the covers themselves are like pretty good. Like, have you any problem with like content ID, which is basically did you get any problem with like you covering a song that has copyright on it?
Many times.
Okay.
That's, with the business of covers, I have many that are not monetized because of this reason. Again, it's more for archival reasons. If you're interested in this cover, I think that's all right if that one is not monetized. But I was copyright striked where they say you can't even have this cover song on YouTube at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Eagles, Hotel California. Sadly, I cannot share my cover on YouTube with the world with that one.
Yeah.
So they scolded me for that one, which is curious that that's the only one. I'm pretty prolific in my music tastes or my music covers, and so it's curious to see which ones are allowed but not monetized, and then no Eagles. That is not okay. I'm sorry, Eagles. I love your stuff, but I understand if you don't want me to take away the spotlight from you, but I don't think it's a very shining spotlight. But I respect that.
Yeah, I don't even know the legalese behind covers. I think like parodies that is completely like covered under fair use. I think otherwise you would have like
a certain kind of parody though. So in actuality, a parody has to count as a parody if you're making fun of the original artist's work. So that is what a parody is. Unfortunately, so like Weird Al, the king of parodies, one of my greatest musical inspirations, my very first album I bought straight out of Linwood and Eat It, when I was a kid telling my dad to buy this album for me. But his work, actually, most of it is not actual legalese parody.
Yes.
So,
that's why he asks,
a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, that's why he said himself, he always asks for the original creator if he can use it, and he also pays the makes the deal with the publishing company that he can use his stuff. Because Weird Al stuff is like it takes the original stuff and then makes something new out of it, but it's not a parody. It's just like you taking it and like using the same song structure but like inserting some other stuff. Like probably the most people know is like the Star Wars stuff. That's what like probably most people have heard, at least. The Jedi thing. But yeah,
this here Anakin guy, maybe Vader sometime later. Now he's just a small fry.
Exactly.
Well, he left his home and kissed his mama goodbye, saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi.
Exactly. I love it. I love his song.
I love Weird Al. Yeah, so I had the delight to see him in concert for his latest album too. It was so fantastic. He's actually going to be doing a concert coming up, actually, a tour where he's doing only his original stuff. So this is brand new and really exciting, because he's got quite a few fantastic originals. My personal favorite, Don't Download That Song, talking about, like the old days of LimeWire, Kazaa, just taking, ripping old music and using it for your own. Basically. And then ironically, because he's that fabulous, he actually, on his website, you can download that song from his website. So you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know, my music taste has shifted, not shifted, but it's been staying on EDM or a French house for like a really long time, like, which is basically Daft Punk. And it's like it has stayed there forever. It's like I hear everything, but it's like it's stayed there forever. Like, because there's so much stuff. Like EDM is basically take every music genre you want, just slap it like a synthesizer on it, and some reverb, and then they go remix it, and you get a new EDM genre. Like probably EDM genres are like there's a new EDM genre every fucking hour probably. So yeah,
the beauty of music, I love it.
Yeah,
like, because genre, that's just us trying to quantify or to classify what a music is. But it's so hard to do that, to put music into these boxes of genre but when we can classify it, we can maybe try to replicate this and even create our own new sound stemming from that. And that's so fantastic. It's always changed the EDM scene.
What do you listen to, generally speaking?
Whew, everything. Anything I can get my hands on. What's fantastic about being a Twitch streamer is I have, everyone from all walks of life, all places of the world, and, just people who are interested in music. Will send me their favorite songs. And so I get so many different types of music that are all, fantastically curated, their favorite songs sent to my ears. So I really love it all. Recently, I've been getting into anything that's got a pep in its step, anything I can get down and boogie to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my favorite. What is the song? Genghis Kong by Mike Snow. I get down to that song. It's so fantastic. As a kid, I grew up with a lot of classic rock and roll, maybe some metal as well, and some reggae influenced by my parents. But then branching out into my own music tastes, I fell in love with musicals, Disney, just animated classics. I'm a big video game player, so I love any kind of video game official soundtrack or video game music or sound. And I really enjoyed recently the big lo-fi scene that's been coming out in these past couple of years. I really enjoy that. So it's sort of like EDM, but more chill. So you'd remix and you'd add all of these fantastic effects, but for more of a chill, relaxing kind of vibe. So I really enjoy that. Or jazz hop, I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But man, you put me in front of some sound waves, I guarantee you I'm going to enjoy it. I will 100% guarantee you that's a bad thing. I don't want to open up for just screaming into my ear.
Yeah.
That might not work. But I love it. That artistic expression through sound waves is incredible. And everyone provides their own unique twist or spin on it. And I eat that stuff up. So good.
I listen to probably everything as well, but Screamo, I can't get. I understand Screamo, what is behind that music genre, but it's I just can't listen to it.
It's extreme. It's very intense.
Yeah.
And sometimes some people crave that intensity. You want that intensity, that outlet. But other times I'm just sitting back with a cup of tea, smelling the fresh air. Maybe it's not the appropriate environment for enjoying this music. Perhaps I'm not the audience generated for this type of music.
There's some music that's specific music genre I can't get into. I understand why it exists and why people might listen to it. And it's I understand it's about the feelings and about the it's not even about the composition of the music anymore. It's more about the how do you feel when you listen to that, which is okay, I get that, but I can't just. You can casually listen to Screamo.
Right. That's great. Well, hey, everyone's got their own different tastes, and that's what's cool is that you can pick and choose.
Yeah.
Especially with all these video sharing or music sharing on the internet. There's so many different things you can listen to, and while it doesn't have everyone's taste, you can find what your tastes are and go towards that, which is so cool.
Yeah. But I also get tired of music pretty quickly. I can't listen to quickly. I can listen to music. I even got at some point I was because I was driving to another city for a project. I was listening to the radio. At some point, I can't listen to music anymore. Not
in general.
Yeah, in general, it was too much.
Just enjoy silence.
Yes,
or
silence.
Music around you. What the ambient noise is around you.
Yeah, I just turned it off and I drove without sound in my car. And at some point, I enjoy driving my car more without music or without any noise than with music, which is weird.
I guess, you're tuning out the voice outside your head, so maybe you can be more in tune with the voice in your head. You're more center stage now in your own musical of life.
Yeah. That might be something to it. But just at some point I was tired of music, which was impossible for me to think how can we be tired of music? But it's possible.
For me, a big thing is I've only met one human on this planet, or one being on this planet, I should say, who just doesn't like music at all. I
It's your
think that
cat.
is an interesting thing. What's that?
It's your cat.
Is it my cat? Not Tika.
Is it your cat? Or is it...
It's actually not. No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually a human, a person.
Okay.
I've never really met a person. Just we all have our own beat or rhythm to our lives, but it's interesting to see. Yeah, if you're mentioning to tune it off completely, but not forever, just for a little while, or just when you're in your car rides.
Yeah, I mean, it's also difficult. Sometimes I turn something on and I listen to something, like I can't listen to music. I turn it off. Like it's become increasingly. It depends also. Like when I'm having my headset on and I listen to music, it's harder. When I like go to my station and put a vinyl on and like just let it play, that's way more listenable. I can listen to that more than I can listen to like something on a headset all the time. Maybe it's also like just like because it's in my ear, basically I can listen to it for longer periods of time. So yeah,
you cannot listen to it because it's too intense in your ears all the time.
So when I have it on my speakers, like over there, my living room, and then it's fine. From like in my ear itself, like that's why video game musics are so like mysterious to me, because I can listen to video game music for a longer period of time, but it's basically because it's made that way. It's made to be like listenable for longer periods of time.
Right. Yeah, because it's kind of ambiance,
yes.
It's a background. It's not the main focus of the game.
Yeah. It's more like it's like when you had like if you had like a soundtrack during your life, it would be something like that. Like something like that is in the background and not very in your face. I mean, but I can listen to Weird Al for like several songs and one behind the other, which is like, but then I have to get into it. Like it's for me, it's my brain is very weird sometimes because like I have to get into mood of doing something, and once I do that, I'm like I work like sometimes when I get into a video, I can edit for like 12, 13, 14, 15 hours or so. It's totally possible.
That's impressive.
But that's
really great.
But getting into that position, being able to.
Oh yeah.
That's like.
Oh, I definitely understand. Yeah, it's that initial push, that first step, and then you can get into this, state of flow. You're really comfortable. But I definitely feel that sometimes when first starting out something.
Exactly.
You gotta get the initial push.
Yeah. So
self-motivation.
So. As I mentioned before, or as I mentioned before in other episodes, like, what is your topic for today? Because I have one, but like I let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, we really did touch on a couple of things I wanted to mention. I'm new starting out on YouTube, while you are, more defined. You kind of know more of your structure of the present, as well as maybe the future. What the future will hold for you on YouTube. As we both, kind of dive more into this content creation and sharing on the YouTube platform, just kind of going over, what changes will happen and how will we adjust for these changes, or I guess how will we change to better fit an audience or to better grab a view. Yeah, I'm pretty new there. So for me, just like you mentioned, already you could tell I'm a rookie just by my color palette, my thumbnails, my tags, I guess a diversity of different videos as well I'm planning on doing in the future too. So just kind of shaping and organizing my thought to put it into these videos. It's a lot. There's a lot of little different things you have to do for this content creation and for this sharing to meet as many eyes as possible. As you actually said on your YouTube video, which I really enjoyed, that's the main goal, how to get the most eyes on you.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing. Would you have advice, or different tips or tricks, or how you have been trying to get most eyes on you? Because there's so many people and there's so many bloated everything on YouTube, but what distinguishes people to look towards you? That was a long-winded thing.
No. Like I can answer the question like in a bleak way, and in more like this is how most people see it positively. So like many things in life, YouTube is about luck. There's no way around it. You can people can tell you, oh, it's about this and that, about sharing stuff and having this and that presence on YouTube. But then I ask people, then what about the out of sight guy that has one video and no social media? How the fuck did he get that attention? It's about luck.
You wonder.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about luck. Yeah, that's the bleak view of the thing. And one of my YouTube companions called Craig, he said basically everything you do on YouTube is basically getting a lottery ticket. So your channel banner and profile picture is a lottery ticket. Your tags are a lottery ticket. Your videos are a lottery ticket. Your thumbnails are a lottery ticket. And like the chance doesn't increase the more lottery tickets get, but the more lottery tickets you get, the higher the chance one of them is going to be the winner, basically.
I like this analogy. Yeah.
So that
is bleak. It's very deterministic,
yes.
Right? You don't have choice. You don't have the ability to do something on your own.
Yeah, that's the stuff that everyone has to be aware, and that's how the reality is. But now comes the other stuff that is more positive. So basically, you can have proactive ways to share stuff. One of the examples, like which you did correctly, which is like contact someone that is a little bit bigger. Like this site is based on social climbing, and this is not like a bad. I'm not judging social climbing. It's like it doesn't matter what I think about social climbing. This is one of the ways to do it. One of the biggest example is, for example, I am Alex. I'm Alex, a commentary channel. No specific talent. Like it's not better editing, no better visuals, nothing especially better than anyone else. But because he knows someone that is bigger than him, or he knew someone that was bigger than him, and that he has probably a good way to contact people and talk to people, he gained a following. So this is like the other side. You have to, unfortunately, if you want to grow on this website, try to contact as many people as possible. And the one thing which I said is a little bit of luck and your perseverance, is if you share with someone that is way bigger and they share again. So those few eyes can suddenly turn your channel from like something that is around like a few views to a few thousand views. Also an example.
You're like a little fish just hopping from one little pond to slightly bigger, maybe a lake.
Yes.
Going into the ocean is very overwhelming.
Yes.
But you need to build yourself up.
Exactly. Because I also have an example for that. I forgot not James Miller. Fuck. I forgot his name. But whatever. He was featured in Jax Asks film. Jax whatever, the channel. And then it went from 1K subscribers to 10K subscribers, which is like tenfold, right? Just by being mentioned once. Which is like, that is it was also a little bit of luck, to be chosen to be featured in that video. But with that, he can get like a momentum going and then cultivate his own following, basically. So these are the two sides. One is basically knowing the chance of you winning is very, very winning. The chance of you succeeding is very, 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 very low. And the only way to combat that is by buying as many tickets as possible. And the other side is like you have proactive methods of growing, which one of them being, for example, social climbing or contacting or networking. So yeah, those are the two worlds we live in. And most of us, I think, don't like networking, but networking is basically the thing that will get you people to know. Like, for example, why did you contact me? It's because I, present myself. I am at least, if not well known, but known at least a little bit in the itch.io or in indie scene. So the only reason you contact me was because I was known in that little group. So
right. Yeah, and like you said, it is difficult, this term networking, putting yourself out there like, hey, maybe not overwhelm some random human you've never met on the internet, but is doing fantastic in their own way. Maybe don't send them this word of vomit, like stream of consciousness, but it's tough, it's kind of out of your comfort zone to approach someone you've never met before.
I leave morality a little bit out of it because if we're gonna start that whole deal, we shouldn't upload on YouTube. Like, it's immoral to upload on YouTube if you think about morals in general. So since I thrown that out the window, of course you have to keep a little bit of identity to yourself. Like, I wouldn't, like, for example, if Raid Shadow Legends would offer me a sponsorship, I would say fuck off. Because I think those types of games are harmful, and everyone that does the sponsorships are probably not thinking about what they're actually doing. It's glorified gambling.
Yeah, and because, like, even though, you know, we are random humans in the world, we still have, you know, things we fight for, things we believe in, and like you said, an identity to uphold. And you should be able to fight for something or to believe in something. And I think your following would definitely understand or maybe fight with you on that. I wouldn't want to try to go for something that I don't believe in. First off, it's ingenuine, and you wouldn't, if you don't believe it in yourself, how will other people think you believe in it? It's not as powerful this way.
But there are a lot of people out there that, like, do sponsorships, and like, you're not really convinced of that, right?
Yeah. It's true though too, like, some people say, you know, it's better to be infamous than not famous at all. Any publicity is better than no publicity, even if it is bad. But I guess that just depends on the individual. Where is your moral ground, or where is your, you know, what is the message you're trying to portray to people as an individual, as a content creator?
One of the things that I would recommend everyone doing is basically watch as many types of content as possible, because there are certain things that, for example, that I learned from the makeup community, which is I'm definitely not the target audience for that. But
you never know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not. But like, there's stuff I learned from there, or like science community.
What do you learn? I'm curious from these different communities.
So
how would you apply it?
So the makeup community is all about presentation, right? But they taught me something very, I think, basic or fundamental, which is basically, you can't have only the thing you're doing. Like, a makeup tutorial cannot be only about makeup, because it's boring. Makeup tutorials that have nothing else other than being a tutorial are boring. So you have to do something extra on top of that, like some story, or some weird editing or whatever. So that's what the makeup community taught me. It's very, very fundamental. But that's
right. So not only are you being useful and efficient, but also what's the extra cherry on top? What is making other people interested in you other than other people?
Yeah. And then there's also the whole political branch of YouTube, and then there's commentary branch, which is like intersects with political, and then there's, of course, reviewers, which I watch a lot, long form, short form, and all this stuff. And I hate this, because it's such a thing that is being blasted out many times. Like, oh, I have to do it because you enjoy it, and I'm like, yes, you have to do it because you enjoy it. But if you want to take YouTube as like as a part-time job or as a job, there will be some days that you don't like your job. There will be some days that you can't edit. There will be some days that you don't want to edit. There will be some days that you can't meet demands. So what do you do then? A lot of people say, oh, you need passion. Like, yeah, I need passion. Passion is good, but it's like jet fuel. You know, once it's burned up, you have to get more jet fuel. So I'd rather have like routine, which is basically you can walk. Like, you are able to use your feet. It's a slower process, sometimes irritating. You might enjoy it here and there, you might enjoy not. But like, passion is more like jet fuel, and routine is more like you are able to use your legs. I definitely have like a not very healthy relationship with YouTube sometimes.
Oh?
Yeah.
Like any lover.
Yes, basically.
Why would you say that? What would you say is not healthy about the relationship?
It provides me something I can do every day, right? Like, if I don't want to do something, I can work on a script. But it also gives me since I set myself goals, it always gives me like, oh, I have to finish something. I have to finish something by tomorrow. For example, right now, I edited like during the day, and I couldn't do it anymore because you can't do it forever. And
Definitely.
I still have, like, tomorrow I have to wake up and then do it again until night, and then render it, and then make a thumbnail, make this and make that. I could have done through this week, but I also have a day job. So it's like, how much energy can I expend until I fall flat?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, how do you balance that, like, YouTube career as well as day job?
I
and
don't.
you also need, rest and relaxation. You just say you don't.
I don't. Everyone. Okay.
Oh no, that's the unhealthy relationship then.
Yes. So here's the thing,
man.
that that probably a lot of people will lie about. Everyone that claims to have a day job and doing YouTube full time, that they balance it out, they're lying. I can 100% say they're lying.
Or they just don't sleep. Or they're robots. They're not confirmed human.
Yes. But they're most likely lying. And every time I listen to, like, oh yeah, they're clearly lying. Like, there's no way you can do it. Nobody can. Like, sure, there are some people that can do it. Like, it's like such rare cases. And YouTube is like, I would benefit from doing daily videos, because that's how, like, that site works. The more you put out, the more likely you're getting picked up by the systems that are behind the site. Which is like...
Right. So that's what I kind of figured. That was my one goal. Just do one video a day. And that's really all I've been doing.
One video a day is harsh.
Yeah, it helps for me. I normally do songs in a concert setting. So, just splicing and fitting one song per day from a concert of maybe 20 is not so bad.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky there. But there is a small amount of content. And like you said earlier, I haven't at all been thinking about, thumbnails, tags. I don't even know where to start there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's basically
No one does.
That's basically summarizes all my beliefs, except for religious beliefs. I don't know.
We got it all. Hey, only what, an hour? That's a pretty good interview. Definite success. I really respect your perspective. It's really shed a lot of light on a lot of different things, starting out as a YouTube specific, content creator, as I am this beta fish in my aquarium for so long just by myself. Yeah. And finally, I want to be set forth in this, I want to be dumped into this tiny pond, just a little thing that I can take care of, and then with goals of eventually, reaching the ocean and the great unknown out there. But it's definitely, a pleasure getting to dive into more of the pond territory, as it were. If we're continuing, I enjoy ocean metaphors. If you could tell, my screen name is JestBubbles.
Yes.
My little slogan, no troubles, JestBubbles.
Yeah.
As I try to be mindful, very positive thinking, and to share this with viewers. And I actually did live on a boat at one point too.
Oh, so yeah, I want to ask about that. Like, do you still live on a boat, or what was your experience of living on a boat?
Unfortunately, only in spirit. So you could say I live on a boat only because my Twitch stream, I actually am Captain Jest, and I am the captain of a space pirate ship as we are sailing the 7 galaxies and beyond. Riding the waves of good vibration. It's a lot of fun. Tika by my side, my pet cat, she's my manager and my number one supporter. She really is the star of the show too. But yeah, my whole life has been very ocean themed. I always gravitate towards the water. I love the water. I'm a scuba diver as well, advanced open water, and I'm just so fascinated by the big blue, the big unknown. And it's beautiful. It's so many different emotions, the ocean or water, that it can portray. And, it always constantly fascinating me. So I try to give some of my ocean background and my ocean passion into my streams, into my YouTube videos. You can see my backdrop is waves as I'm continuing this, allegory or this metaphor.
If I could, like, everyone thinks they want to fly, and I'm like, what? I don't give a shit about flying. I want to swim. I want to be able to, like, go into the
zero gravity.
Yeah,
you don't have to use as much of your muscles, joints, and everything. You're as close as you can get to the moon on the bottom of the ocean.
Exactly.
My experience with night diving is very similar to that. I'm just underwater, 30 meters deep with a flashlight. And I'm looking around, the fish are sleeping too, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's only, the spooky white-tip shark or the lobster or the octopus that are out and awake. It's a cute fun fact is actually pufferfish, because they already have that natural defense.
Mm-hmm.
They just lie on the ground at night, and so there's just these cute little puppy dog eye pufferfish just lying there, unsuspecting, just because, well, they don't need to hide. But it really is like the surface of the moon when you're down there. It's a completely different picture. It helps that, I'm wearing an oxygen mask. I have to breathe in the air on the tank on my back, and I'm in this big suit, and it's so huge. It's so vast, and at the same time, so small. And I'm just this small little creature, unassuming, just trying to take it all in. But, you realize in that moment that, yes, I am so small, and it's kind of like being on the moon, as it's this barren wasteland all in front of me. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
What about the pressure, like, on your body? Like, do you have to do something? Like, I know you'd have to compress and decompress. Like, how does it feel?
Right. Yeah. So you have to be very, very attentive to your pressure. You'll be wearing a watch just to make sure, you don't want to go too deep too fast, as well as you don't want to ascend too fast as well. The nitrogen can actually seep into your system, and bubbles of nitrogen can actually get caught everywhere. And if they're all caught too quickly, all of these bubbles called the bends, it's really bad. You can do it like a decompression chamber, but to avoid that, you want to ascend and descend slowly, strictly. There's mathematics behind it. That's why you have to always go with a dive master. I'm not like dive master certified, so I always have to go in a team. It's always better to be with a buddy anyways, because, you don't want to mess up. This is not our natural environment. We're definitely aliens on this otherworldly planet, going back to that metaphor. But you also get help with buoyancy control through your BCD or through your vest that you can inflate or deflate with air to help give you buoyancy control. You can also wear weights on different places on you. Traditionally, a weight belt you'll wear. And when you're first starting out learning, you'll learn in a pool. So you can kind of see your own natural buoyancy control, because you can actually alter with your breath. And just having that breath control to, breathe up or breathe in, you're a little more buoyant. You've got air to fill your lungs. Or breathe out, you're a little less buoyant. So you're going to sink a little. And it's quite a lot of balancing act, but it's nothing to scoff at. It's a fantastic hobby and so much fun, but you do need to study beforehand. You do need to understand the science of it. You have to respect scuba diving. You have to respect the water and everything around you, but it is all the worthwhile. It's an incredible experience. Like I said, like the closest you can be to an astronaut as an everyday human.
Well, there's a reason why we train astronauts underwater, right?
Yes, yeah. Also, the vomit comet. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. They have the band OK Go. They do a song on the vomit comet. It's so much fun to watch the music video. Oh man, that would be an experience to actually achieve zero gravity as best as we can. It would be a thrill. I would hope not to vomit, but I am an avid roller coaster rider and amusement park goer. So hopefully, all of that stomach fortitude, stomach of steel will hopefully be on my side. My my resume of stomach of steel is pretty high.
What's one of your best experiences underwater?
Best experiences or interesting? Because those can be different.
Both.
Experiences, right? Okay, we'll go with best, and then we'll go with most terrifying. Just the contrast, the yin and the yang. My best experience underwater. It's so cliche, but it could be my very first experience underwater. My very first experience being in the ocean. After all of this practice in pools, after all of this theoretical training with training videos, my training instructor, different tests and assignments I did, after all of that, all the work paid off. And my first dive going underwater, I was very spoiled because I was actually in one of the best places to dive off the coast of Thailand, between Thailand and Myanmar. And, just you can't be panicked, you can't be anxious, you have to be in a certain calm state of mind. It's very important just to have your wits about you. And so you would be preparing for this moment for quite a while as I'm on the boat, as I'm suiting up, as I'm testing out my goggles, as I'm testing the air and from my oxygen, from my air tank. You just have to have this kind of peace and serenity about you. And it's probably the closest I could get to a meditative state, and it's important to do so. So you have to let go of everything. You go under. You take your last breath from air on the surface, and now you're breathing solely on your tank, and you're diving deeper and deeper. You have the assistance of your dive master, so you don't have to worry about where to go or a map underwater, but you're kind of on this tour guide of underwater biome. It's like going to the zoo, but all of these animals are surrounding you. So my very first dive experience was Richeroo Rock. It's a very huge pillar of rock and coral in the middle of the ocean, which is a really unique opportunity because a coral and all of this rock provides shelter and provides safety for a lot of the younger critters or a lot of the younger fish or different invertebrate marine animals that live there. And so all of a sudden, as we're approaching this big natural pillar of rock and coral, which coral is alive, coral is an animal. So this alive pillar I'm approaching, my very first experience underwater, and you can just see it teeming with life, just schools of fish surrounding you. As you're approaching it, you get the bigger fish, some schools of barracuda, some trevally, some really big silver, shining, glistening fish. And as you get closer, you get to see those small, more intricate, wildly colored fish, the angelfish, the triggerfish, the clownfish, all of these incredibly colored animals as they're surrounding you, and you can feel them, as they're swimming next to you, curious, what is this alien creature that's right beside me? You're not normally here, and I'm just a visitor, a guest in their beautiful world. And it blew me away to have this. When you're at the doctor's office or the dentist office, they're trying to present this serene, calming atmosphere to calm you down in anticipation of this torture chamber you're about to experience. But it was like I dove right into that aquarium, and all of the colors, all of the textures, the different animals surrounding me. That was something. I would say it took my breath away, but that would be dangerous.
Then you should worry.
Yes, exactly. I wouldn't want that, but I was just in complete and utter awe. I have to focus on my buoyancy. I have to focus on staying with all of my teammates or all of my dive mates. But otherwise, I just got to step back from my conscious mind of, okay, is this correct? And is this correct? Am I doing this, this, and this? And it kind of, all that training came into place. All of the puzzle pieces fit in to this beautiful backdrop of color. And I was able to just immerse my eyes, truly a visual experience, just a full concert performance, and just sit back, paddle, and watch this world that I'm not so used to unfold right before my eyes. It's absolutely remarkable. And every dive ever since, you say an incredible experience. Every single dive after, you get a little bit more. I really enjoy fish identification and finding all the different fish and, trying to be able to identify what particular stripe pattern or color pattern or just to try to identify many different species or just different fish in general is a really fun for me. It's like playing Where's Waldo underwater, and there's always something new to find. I've yet to find Waldo, but I'm still hunting for him. He's got to be there somewhere.
Somewhere. That's why I like the bottom of the sea more. It's like more life than like up top, like in the air. There's nothing.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
empty.
definitely. And that's where life started, right? The
Yeah.
air, it was too hot above ground because the sun is a deadly laser. And so nothing could live above there. So this is really where life on our planet started. And I respect that. I absorb it like a sponge that I see underwater. Yeah, it's my favorite place in the world. And I try to incorporate some of that passion, some of that enthusiasm in my content I create on the internet.
Well, we
A
are
little
like,
piece.
of course, like there's always a little part of you in your content that's like, it's
Mhm.
like,
Right. It helps with the genuine, to
yeah,
help it come alive too. If you see that passion, hey, maybe you want to be part of that passion.
yeah.
I'd hope.
And when you see channels that are basically content farms, you notice there's something off about it.
Right.
It's so
It's staged.
artificial.
It's
Yeah.
artificial. Yeah. It's not alive. What's incredible about humans is we have so many different range of emotions. We have so many thoughts. We have so much passion. And now with the internet, we have this ability to share this passion and, to share all these different perspectives and viewpoints. And that's incredible that we have this, this is our new frontier, our
You,
wild, wild west
you are
is the
literally
internet.
you are literally on the other side of the world. So
I know! And here we are chatting with a cup of tea, having a conversation.
Exactly.
Incredible.
I actually
I love it.
I actually forgot to go buy stuff. So my refrigerator is empty.
Oh no!
It's
It's really late at night there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's past 1.
Oh no. Is anything open?
No, it's fine. I'm probably gonna drive
Yeah.
to a tank station. No, fuel station tomorrow, and then I can buy something.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or like a gas station we
Gas
call in the
station.
US.
Gas station.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
I'm not sure, in other English-speaking
No,
places,
it's
I'm
gas
sure
station.
different.
It's not-
Petrol station in the UK? Because you don't say gas, you say petrol.
I don't know what the Brits say. It might be just the gas station as well. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
At this
It's
point,
cool. I love it. You speak the same language, but there's so many different ways, slang of saying things. Completely won't know what you're talking about, even though you know English.
yeah. I just forgot that it's called gas station. What word can I put it in here? Because German, it's very simple. German, you can just use a word and then connect to another word and then get a new word, and even though it doesn't exist, everyone will understand you.
Yes, I love it. Building blocks of language in
Exactly.
German.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. I love that.
If you know around 100 or maybe even 200 words, you can communicate probably at least a little bit. Day by day. 100 words.
That inspires me because I would like to learn 100 words of German.
I'm
really interested in language.
You can get through the day.
That would be great.
200 words.
Now, which 100 words, though?
Well,
right?
That's
depends on your day, I guess.
Exactly. But German is very easy, so you can build all this shit, all those words, and the other languages I know, like Portuguese, you have to know words. It's very important to have big assortment of words that you can use. And in English, it's the same, but you lead in less words because English is it's easier than every other language I've learned. It's just the pronunciation is very hard. That's the thing. That's the thing about English.
Oh man, yeah, because reading English, they've decided not to make it very phonetically sound and made it really difficult for non-native speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a hodgepodge taking all of these different elements from, Romance language, Germanic language. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So
and you say English was the easiest language you learned.
Yes.
What else? What are other languages that you've dabbled?
Well, I know Portuguese, which is my first language, and then I know German, which is the language I use the most, and English, and then I'm currently learning Japanese. But Japanese is, I would say, easy in comparison to the other languages because there's no object, subject, and verb. Throw that out the window, and you can speak very easily. It's very blunt. It's a very blunt language. The only thing you have to do is
I
like
feel like
learn a
that's
lot by.
efficient.
Yeah, you have a lot. You know how in English and German you have like to have like a very small set of words to know like how to communicate. In Japanese, it's
Mhm.
the other way around. You have to know a lot of words to be able to communicate.
Mhm.
And then of course
You
there's
also have to learn new alphabets, right? And plural alphabets too, not just one.
yeah, that's not the
No?
biggest problem. Like probably writing,
Oh.
writing and reading. Yes, it's a little bit more difficult, but like you have to. That's like languages. Languages you have to learn shit by heart.
Right.
There's no way around
Yeah,
it.
repetition.
Exactly.
Yeah. Best is to immerse yourself
Yeah.
in the place of origin of the language.
Even something
Which
like
you do for German. You say you're native speaking of Portuguese, but now
yes.
you live in Germany, or you've always lived in Germany?
Yeah. And so I moved here when I was like something like 9 or something like that.
Okay.
So
That's pretty cool because you have that childhood experience of Portuguese. Like, you'll never forget that now, even if you
yeah.
never go back.
Yeah. But basically all my languages are fucked because if I go to
Oh.
Brazil, like they immediately recognize, oh, I'm not a native. If I'm Germany, you can definitely hear that I'm like not a native speaker, and English is definitely not native. Like you can clearly.
So you're not native anywhere
So
anymore.
yeah, so all my languages are fucked. So it's like, oh yeah,
Well, I wouldn't say fucked. I would say you have your own personal accent now. Where are you from? I'm a citizen of the world. You can't place me on a certain place.
yeah. My English accent is everything from Spain to India. It's like the whole. I heard everything from here to there.
It's interesting. Yeah, you mentioned you were in Germany, but I actually thought you were from somewhere with more a romance background. I would have said Spanish speaking
Yes.
only because I'm not familiar with Portuguese as much.
Yes.
So
That's
a pretty cool affirmation for me.
That's what I hear the most, Spanish.
Yeah. Awesome.
Because, you know, even though Spanish and Portuguese are not are quite far apart, they're not the same language, they sound similar, yeah, I would say.
I've always heard that Portuguese sounds like French, but is read more like Spanish. At least from someone who speaks a bit of French and Spanish, that's my takeaway.
Yeah.
It's like a combination of the two.
Yeah.
With the pizzazz and flair.
Spanish is harder, I would say. No, that's not true. Spanish is softer.
Coming from someone who knows Portuguese, I think you'll maybe be biased.
Yeah. Spanish
is
is softer.
harder than the language I learned native.
No, I mean, it sounds softer, probably, Spanish, than Portuguese. And, well, French sounds completely different. It's in a similar ballpark. It's like, I wouldn't compare those languages to the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also, as a native speaker, I couldn't understand French, but I can understand partially Spanish. So French is
Well, because in French you like get rid of half of the letters on the end of your sentences.
Yeah, exactly.
Every word.
You write handball, but you speak on the ball. Which is like, the half of the letters are missing.
Right, exactly. I love it. So fun.
Which is
languages fascinate me so much.
Yeah.
We have this ability to talk all the way on the other side of the world. So now we have even more reason to learn all these different languages, which is so great.
The funny thing is,
I need to learn this.
Language is the very first episode is about in Intermission. It was about language, and I talked about with a internet buddy called Budget Gamer. He is like a not a language teacher, but like a language he has a doctorate in some language acquisition thing. I forgot the name. So
language acquisition, perhaps.
Yeah, so he learned that, and it was also fascinating talking about him about the stuff.
Yeah.
And about
I studied in university linguistics generally.
Yeah.
My particular interest is in more phonetics and dialectology. It makes sense for the voice acting side of me.
Yeah.
But fascinating, to know the study behind how we acquire language, and from like a native speaker to a second language to an adult acquisition.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
So voice acting, like which you do, I saw a few stuff you did. So voice acting, for example, for me would never be possible because I simply don't speak natively, and that's like a huge block. No. That's like that's just the reality of the of the
That's fair.
of the this market. Like, it's until we get to a point where it's not anymore. But like right now, it's like you can never get like a job as a voice actor that has an accent, which is like, if you can make one, sure. But like having one naturally, it's impossible to get like a voice acting job. It's because why? Why should you hire someone that has a natural accent instead of someone that can make one? Because then you can use the person that can make one way more roles. So yeah.
That's true. Yeah, to have a more diverse selection of voices and accents is beneficial, especially if you have a US accent, a UK accent. Those are very sought after.
Yeah.
But I see, you could totally do for like a Spanish accent.
Exactly.
Portuguese
yeah.
accent. Definitely go for that.
but it's like most of the times those are like side roles, or
I'll send them your way.
Yeah, those most of the times they're like side roles or not role, like the background voices. Like, I'm fine with that, right. but it's like,
hey,
okay,
start somewhere.
Most of those roles are like already have their stand-ins, like it's already filled with a bunch of stuff. So it's I because I looked into it, I would like to at some point, but like you have to use your other influence to barge your way into voice acting, basically.
Right, because you don't have the variety of voices that you could offer.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot. Yeah, you could. Yeah. Okay, but next time I see looking for Spanish accent, I'm sending it your way. I think you could provide a more believable Spanish accent than maybe I could. Definitely more than I could.
Yeah, because it's natural, right? I don't have to force it. It's just like I speak naturally, and it sounds like a Spanish person speaking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I find one looking for a Portuguese accent, I will. But I haven't found one yet, unfortunately.
That's what I mean. Like, if I could, like, I could probably get some voice acting stuff in Germany. But that would be possible because my German is pretty believable. Let's say like that. Let's put it like that. It's like it's hard to find the difference between my German and some native speaker. But like
through the school system, right? So you got a lot of experience.
Yeah, like speaking German all my life, so. It's not very hard to not speak almost perfectly. There are, of course, certain things that I can't pronounce. Just like it's like
what can you not
pronounce? I don't know right now, but like certain things are like it sounds wrong. It just doesn't sound German. But it's the same thing with Canadians. They speak French all the time, and then they learn English as a second language, and then they sound wrong. Sounds wrong when they speak English, even though it sounds almost perfect. But certain pronunciations sound like, yeah, you're definitely Canadian. Like, it's...
Alright. Yeah, you're Canadian, eh? Oh, you better. Canadian, don't you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, like, English in general is very... It at some point, English will become language that is, like, so mumbled and so, like, filled with so many accents, it will be impossible to distinguish like where the fuck do people are coming from. Because you can have like a person that is born in America but hardly speaks like American English, but speaks something completely else. Especially people born in the suburbs. Like at some point, it doesn't sound like English anymore.
Well, language is always evolving, and to have this ability to talk online all over these different places, we have even more more ability to listen to
Twitch language, dialect. Right?
Yeah. There's so many just different possibilities of different dialects to pick up, and hey, soon like you're saying, it's going to be all muddled together. But
and there's also
cool.
internet language, which is basically if you go to Twitch, like not anyone knows what like Omega Lol, Puggers, Kappa. Like not many people know what that means.
Right. What about Leet Speak though? It's old hat now. Nobody does Leet Speak.
You mean with the numbers and the letters?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, nobody uses that anymore. Maybe someone is a mate or me too, and then there's some things that are like remnants of the Leet Speak and they use it. But other than that, it's like
we'll archive it. The language history of the internet.
Internet history. So it's so difficult to document internet history because it's so fast, so fast. It's like one month, a day, a week, like a few hours, and then it's gone forever.
Getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
Remember when a meme lasted like a meme of the year or something, and now it's like meme of the month, now meme of the week,
meme of the hour.
Yeah. It's wild.
Okay, so if you are not interested in that, we don't need to talk about it. But right now, for example, we have the situation about H3H3, which is one of the biggest commentary channels on the site.
I hear this there.
Yeah, against Keemstar, which is one of the biggest news/drama channels on the site. Yeah, and they had big beef, and it was like, this beef will be over in a week maximum, and then everyone will go their ways, and probably both will benefit from it because both got exposure.
Exactly. It's like we were saying earlier. Yeah, any publicity is better than no publicity at all.
Exactly.
Even if it's bad.
So if someone wants to document the year 2020, this will be a blip, But out of those blips, there are like 500 of those blips. And then there are blips that you don't even see because they're not big enough. Like smaller creators having beef with smaller creators, and bigger creators having big, and then like middle of the, and they have so many things.
There's so much content out there.
Yes, it's almost impossible to document that. Like, if anyone wants to do that, like be an internet historian, good fucking luck.
Yeah, that would be a challenge.
I mean,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you've got to have these.
Yeah. I try it to a certain extent, when I discover something, and we tried at least in the gaming, in the gaming or indie gaming part, because there are many games, indie games that like see the light of day, don't get another following, and just vanish from the face of the internet.
Right.
Like,
that's the downside. In the sea of beautiful fish, like you can't see every single one.
Some go extinct, and we never knew about it.
Yeah. Oh, heartbreaking.
Yeah, kind of.
But it will go extinct. So that's the cool thing about internet, is if it's on the internet, it will stay there. So it will not be lost forever.
I mean, there are cases where like I can't find it anymore. It's gone. It's not even in the Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine is basically
classic archiving.
Archiving is like, can't even find it in Wayback Machine. I know it exists, but I can't find it there. Have you situations where you like want to search for something and you simply can't find it? Like, one of the examples for me would 2 examples actually. I was searching for Speed Racer, which is like this basic cartoon, and then was turned into a movie, and the movie flopped, even though it was actually pretty. It was nice, and it was looking like I wanted to find the Speed Racer car, and I couldn't for the love of God not remember what the name of the cartoon was. And at some point, I typed some random assortment of words, and I'm like, oh, I found it. That's it.
Yes. I love, there's a great meme where it's like behind the Google, like you're typing in all these random keywords with just a little bit of information. Remember, like, what in the world are you trying to look up? Just completely nonsensical. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And one of the more recent ones was, what's it called? Ace? Something Arena Combat Evolved. It's like, it's a 3v3 game where you have, it's basically Rocket League before Rocket League, if you know that game. Rocket League is like the cars with the balls, and that was basically, and that was basically it, but before Rocket League. And it vanished. And I remembered it again because I wanted to do eventually something with it. And I couldn't find it. It was not on Steam. I couldn't find it. Ace, if you type it in, Ace is you will most likely find the Ace Combat, the air combat, the jet combat game, which is not helpful. And I tried it. I tried on YouTube, and then at some point I typed Arena and then Combat, and then the Last World Evolved wasn't coming out, but it led me closer to the name, and then I found it's called Arena Combat Evolved, and then I couldn't find the thing. Because, Ace is the worst shorthand for your game, because it already is attached to a big brand, so.
Right. So you need to come up with all these creative names, but then you won't know. Then it's the opposite problem where people won't search for that creative name unless they
Exactly.
already know it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's tough to try to get a balance between the two.
Yeah, Ace. There's another game called Anxiety, which is like, why do you call the game
No.
Anxiety? Like, it's
Like, you search anxiety game.
Yeah, it doesn't come up. Like, it's the worst.
So
Yeah, it's the worst name to choose for your game because it's like, mate, what are you thinking? Like, it's the worst name you can choose for your game. Like, it's impossible.
Right. So now I'm curious though, like, does it produce anxiety playing this game?
Yes.
Is it like a mental Olympics?
Yes.
I'm thinking the latest one, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Like, anxiety.
Well,
How
anxiety.
does it provide?
It depends on how you play it, but anxiety definitely provides anxiety.
Oh no.
I would say more like
Well, I guess
it's a indie horror game. It's a 2D horror game, so
I'm interested.
you might be interested in that.
Except now, how will I find it?
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, when I talk to indie developers, always say, please think about your name. Please think about this. Please think about that. Please think about the presentation. It's very important.
Okay, well, now I have a personal story about that because of a game that I recently helped create, an indie game for the most recent 7-day roguelike on itch.io. It's the game, so I collaborated, I was the voice acting, the music, the sound effects for this game called Sao, which is a very generic name, but it's a play on words because not only are you sowing the seeds, you're sowing the seeds of a forest with these acorns, you also turn into a pig, a sow. So it's like a play on words, you're a sow who sows, a sow who sows. Which is so great of a title, but again, yeah, you have to realize how can you find the game?
Yes.
It's be very difficult. I was so conflicted, but I was so adamant on keeping the name just because of that play on words. I had to keep it. It's so cute.
When you really want those types of names, I have a solution mostly for that. And it's basically keep the name and then put what is the double point? Colon, and then you put a subtitle. And there you go. And most of the times it solves the problem. If it was,
we should do that next time.
Yeah, it was something like anxiety, the game about anxiety. Great, you already solved it. It was double point a roguelike experience or something like that. It's just very generic, but you know, it helps. It helps. Names and presentations, like games, are because I try to push people towards going to itch.io and try stuff out. But if you think about it, most people that play games, they play maybe 1 or 2 games a year. They have like 60. Yeah, they play 1-2 games a year, big games. It's hour-long thing. They come home, play like a few hours, and it goes on for 60 hours or something like that.
Right. Because it's tough to be immersed in all these new worlds for someone who just wants to kick back, relax, and be taken away by this world they're familiar with.
Exactly. And most people don't like to try stuff out. Most people definitely don't like the indie aesthetics. When it's pixel art or any other art, they don't, looks bad, not gonna play it. It has to be like super, super clean. But
oh man, yeah, that reminds me of this, the picture you posted on Twitter, where it's like, graphics! Holding up this great metal, graphics! So shining, shimmering, beautiful, graphics! But then you see the actual standings. It's like first place, gameplay, story, music, art style, characters. Graphics is not the meat.
Yes.
You know, it's nice and pretty to look at.
It's the cult.
Not the stuff. Yes.
Graphics is if anyone, like, you know about game development, but if anyone is like knows about game development, the last thing you do in your project is insert graphics into it. Like, that's the last thing you do. First of all, it's all blocky. It's all blocks and blocks on blocks. It's placeholder. Like, that's how you design the game, and then you put your graphics in. Nobody gives a shit about graphics in the beginning because that's not gonna sell the game. It's gonna sell the game. That's not true. The graphics are going to sell the games, but we reach a point. Yeah, it's on repeat. But we reach a point of diminishing returns. Every new generation, kind of, is like, it looks similar to the last one. It's like it doesn't. Advancement in graphics is not gonna make games better. But like I said, if you think about it, most people don't play many games. They play maybe 2 games a year, and they want those games to look as beautiful as possible. But people like me that review games and play a lot of games, and like, I don't give a shit about graphics. I want experiences. I want good experiences. I want good stories, good music, good gameplay. So yeah, it's definitely like the difference between reviewer and most people that play games.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's tough. Most people who play games, yeah, it's like a picture. You judge a book by its cover, and that is the cover, is checking out what it looks like. But sometimes it's so hard to get into otherwise. So for me, particularly, like, I'm really interested in like different like simulation games, survival base building games like RimWorld or like Dwarf Fortress. But Dwarf Fortress is so difficult to get into because of this UI disadvantage, because of this like lack of graphics. I would prefer like RimWorld over Dwarf Fortress. That's why I'm excited. They are actually starting to do something with more enhanced graphics on Steam, which I'm so stoked for. But it's true. It's difficult for someone to kind of dive into something and immerse themselves, as well as a game that does have the graphics that will provide a little of that immersion for you already.
Well, there's a difference between having absolutely no graphics and having the absolute stunning graphics. And Dwarf Fortress is like, we don't need graphics. It's like, what are graphics?
Yeah. What is anything?
What do you mean by graphics? We don't understand what you mean by that.
Exactly. Who needs it, right? Yeah. And I definitely respect Dwarf Fortress. Man, it is deep as you can go, which I highly, I really commend that. But it does stop the general population of people reaching out and getting it, which is a bit of a shame because there's so much creativity, there's so much power, so much to this game, but it stinks that the only thing that's holding a lot of people back is maybe the graphics, the UI. I'm waiting. It's going to happen though. So
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's indie games have been like something that existed for, I don't know, like since the inception of the file sharing world, and like it hasn't caught on to the general public. Like even people that play a lot of games, when I say, "Oh, have you heard of itch.io?" like they're like, what? What is that? And it's like, it's not heartbreaking. It's just like the reality we live in. Most people go for the AAA stuff because they can expect a certain level of polish, which is like, since I play indie games, that's clearly not my focus. Like I'm pretty sure there will be some jank here and there, but it provides different experience. Right now, for example, I'm playing Monster Hunter, but like, oh, Monster Hunter is very polished. Like, there's certain things like, why is it designed this way? Like, and then I realize, oh, it's designed for certain things, for example, for a console. So it has to be designed this way so that consoles can easily be used right there. And that's, a developer would probably think about more PC players and not about console players. And then there's this whole world, and there's so many perspectives and so many stuff that I don't like about AAA gaming. And it's like, especially menus. AAA menu like looks pretty and it's pretty good most of the time. So it's like, I don't like it. She's hinders my game.
No, I respect both. It's just you don't have as much effort. I shouldn't say effort. You don't have as much energy to put the time, the money for the indie games that you obviously can for like a AAA game.
Exactly.
Where they lack in that polish, they definitely make up for incredible gameplay.
Yep.
Really fascinating stories and characters, and it's kind of like a hidden gem in the rough. You have to kind of search. If you don't know, you never find it, but there's some fantastic work out there. And I'm lucky enough that I actually have been a participant in creating some of those indie games, but playing as well, I really enjoy.
Well, most indie titles that have become big definitely started as like a gem or like something else, and then they got evolved in polished and refined, and then they are games right now.
Yeah. My very first project I worked on was on Pico 8. Actually, I made my own game on a Pico 8. It's called the Summertime. It's really cute. It's terrible because
I
I am not a programmer.
I played it.
But yeah,
Yes.
what did you think?
Um,
Oh,
I
so
think
much fun.
I think I got
Yeah.
halfway through, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it has.
Chores.
Hmm?
Do you do your chores?
Yes, yeah, I
You have
did
to
my
do
choice. I did my choice.
nice.
And then I'm like, the idea is kind of neat. It's like, oh, okay, so you're trying to have this mundane day, contrasted against something that is out of your control or is like higher than your control.
Yeah.
The idea is neat, but like, oh, there's gameplay wise, there has to happen a lot of stuff has to happen until it can be considered like something like presentable or playable that people will understand. Like I catch onto this stuff because I played many types of this game, these types of games or indie games. So I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. But like for someone that doesn't play many games, they were like, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and I kind of just throw you in the middle of it and try to play on those mysterious elements.
Yeah.
But it was created in 7 days, and I did learn a ton in that game and have mad respect, for all types of game development.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, Pico 8 also like Celeste that happened, the Diamond in the Rough, and
Yes.
now you can play on Switch. So that's really cool. Building blocks. You start with the gameplay and all the awesome concrete foundation, and then you can add the polish after.
Exactly. That's how games are made. But the day, the day an indie game receives Game of the Year at the Game Awards, that's the day I know, okay, it has succeeded. Until then, it's just gonna be this niche stuff or this niche thing or this thing that not many people do, and you have to fight people so that they can try, and once they try, they probably love it. Because, for example, I think last year or before that, Celeste did actually win like best indie title, and they won something like with music, best soundtrack or something like that. But if you think about it, like the last 3 or 4 years of Game Awards all of them have gone to long games that are all AAA and all from 3 studios: Electronic Arts, I think Ubisoft, or the other one, or 2K. So those 3 studios, those are the only ones that received like Game of the Year awards. So it's like it's very like that's like what the majority watches, like the majority plays and watches. So the moment like Celeste can win
advertising and
so the moment Celeste can win a game like Celeste can win a Game of the Year award, then I'm okay. Then we reach the point where like, okay, I'm happy. Like this is like where I want to go. But before that, it's like, we're not even close to convincing people that it should play more than like the newest AAA game that costs $60 and goes on for 60 hours.
Right. But, you're a part of that too, right? Reviewing all these indie games, providing a more general audience for people who might not have picked it up in the first place, which is a really great role to have in exposing great games.
It's the worst. It's the worst topic you can choose on YouTube because most people don't care. But yeah, like one of my viewers commented, "You're doing God's work, but God is on vacation." And I'm like, okay, thanks. But like,
we deserve, but we don't need. Wait, where's Batman?
Yeah, like I kind of see.
We don't deserve you, but we need you. That's it. You're the hero we need, not the hero we deserve. I got you, Batman.
That's too high for praise, but like, I definitely can see like I am doing something that not many people are interested in. And for example, I'm doing a video right now where I'm like, is this interesting to people? Like, probably not, but it's interesting to me, and I assume I'm not unique. I'm assuming I'm not unique, so there are more people that would enjoy this stuff. They just haven't seen it yet.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's a constant fight, a constant struggle against myself, against the industry, against whatever. It's like I I'm a very conflicted person in general, so I hold two points at this. I can hold two ideas at the same time. They're completely contradictory. I'm okay with that. So yeah, I wouldn't say complex. It's just I think most people are like that. Most people.
Yeah. People are complex.
Yes.
They're black and white.
Yeah.
Not all.
Yeah.
You're simplifying.
On the internet, though, you need to play black and white.
Because people are quick to judge.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to quickly get a sense of something. What is our attention span? Less and less as years progress.
Yeah. I don't know if that's even true. I don't know. Because it seems like the long form content that people watch.
Yeah, it's very tough. But what will hold your attention to grab it in the first place? I don't know. This demands a psychologist. We need more research. I am not. We're not qualified for this.
Psychology is a good, nice field of study, but sometimes, yeah. It's just sometimes I think, it's contra what your instinct is, contradictory to your instinct. Not when you hear something that a psychologist says or a psychology finds out, I'm like, this doesn't sound right. But if you look at the data, it's that's true.
Yep. The data. That is the gospel of science, though.
Yeah.
And it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. That's the word I want to say. Yeah. Humans. Dude, I love them.
Humans, man.
I love them, and I hate them.
And I think that should we go into your mythos, your lore of humans? I notice your Twitter and your Discord title. You are human. You swear by Melissa.
So,
do we get any kind of backstory or a hint into the mystery behind you?
So every few videos there are hints of what the character is. It's very hidden. It's very simple. It's not the idea is that this character is not quite human.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it's better or worse. It's just not human. There's something wrong with it, with the character, but it's not aware of it. So basically, if you could in the world itself, I'm the host. I'm the human or I'm the host. And then there's the character Carl, which is he's not human. Clearly not. He tries to convince people that he's not. And that goes together with the human that he provides. It's very deadpan, doesn't make any sense sometimes, and he laughs about his own jokes. So it's that's how I put away the part that the artistic part of me, put away that character, and everything else is right now I'm just normal. There's no on the podcast the mask's off. There's no playing around. There's no
figuratively off.
there's no acting. But you could
right.
But at the same time, I think this could also be part of the mythos that when I'm recording the podcast, I'm the human and the host is gone. The thing that is inhabiting my body is gone. It's not here, and I'm just convincing me that that it's not. He's just letting me do my stuff. But when he's doing the videos, he's completely something else. So it's basically this host thingy relationship. He's inhabiting the body when I'm doing my other stuff.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. That's why the banner as well has two pictures in the front and the back. The front is of course the entity, and in the back it's me. That's basically the story. And every few episodes he gets a few hints here and there. It's not big. It's not. There will be at some point. I plan to do something at some point with it, but it's it's slowly developing, and it's hey, leave hints. Of course, in the about section is a hint, and in their section there are of course hints what is actually
right.
is. And there's of course this corporation in the background called LL Incorporated that we don't know much about them, but they're basically you could say they're basically a big corporation, and we don't know much about them. It's gonna unfold at some point. But yeah, right now it's just the entity and me fucking around on the channel.
Yes, I love that. So fascinating. It's something more, something mysterious. What is under the covers? What is hidden in the curtain? I love that. keeps us curious.
And the entity itself is not aware what it actually is. Like, it does stuff. And
it's not self-aware.
Yeah, it's convinced it's human. It's convinced it's actually doing something. Like, everything it says, it's actually convinced that it's like it's happening to them. But it's in reality, it's like it's not. Like, it's that's a whole thing. It's in reality the entity is not aware that it's what it's actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
So so in context, every video it does, it's like I'm talking about like the lore in itself. Like, I do the videos, of course. Like, it's me. I'm doing it. Like I'm
this ominous voice.
Yeah, but it's like in context, in universe, it's like this entity doing something. That's why it sounds so sometimes so. That's the excuse I give sometimes for mistakes in general.
Yes.
And of course, yeah, and of course I do building sometimes mistakes on purpose. So yeah, like
now you won't know what is on purpose, what is not. What is called all on purpose.
Yeah,
it's all part of the design plan.
Exactly. So even if I get to get better pronunciation and so on, I will still mispronounce certain stuff because it's part of the thing, part of it.
Yes, I love it. It's the emotion, the character, the greater purpose of this mystery.
Yeah. So there's also like a third character, but it has not been introduced, and I don't know where. Like, where
Easter egg, right, guys?
Yeah. It's not been introduced, and it's been sitting on the back burner for quite a long time.
Anything about them that we should know?
It's so difficult because it's supposed to be this character, which is completely disconnected from all of them, from both of them. So yeah, the only thing is the name is Olaf. That's it. That's it.
Perfect. We'll take that, and we'll make our own creepypastas and theories. And
yeah.
You hear that? Olaf.
Olaf.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
Add to the mystery. Well, I love character building. As a voice actress myself, coming up with these different characters, like you were saying, like different voicings and different ways you can manipulate your speech. Or like mispronunciation, like you were saying too. I really love to dive into that, into different characters to play.
So one of the episodes that's like pretty much the thing is like island. It's pronounced island, right? Like, even though it's ISL, so it's island. Like, he completely cut out the S. And then the entity, right? Like, the character like rants about it. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? How do you pronounce that? I know how to pronounce it, of course, but like the character itself is like, I don't. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know.
It says, whose land? His land?
Whose land? His land?
His land? Which land is land? This land.
Exactly.
I love it.
So yeah, I know a few other channels that do the same. Like, have like a lore, but like Channel Awesome, if you know about them, they like did reviews. I don't follow them anymore. Or Quentin Reviews, and they have like lore, but it's very like on the nose sometimes, and it's not very subtle, and sometimes just like it doesn't make sense. It's more like, oh, it has been introduced stuff, and nobody really thought about what is happening.
Right.
It's more like it's part of it, but like they haven't talked about like what the actual story about it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think for any kind of like a content creator, you want to have this sort of culture about you. Yeah. And this is one way to create that kind of culture. These different mythos, these different legends, these different memes or whatever you'll call them. Just, it's the culture of your community. And
the long-term plan is to, at some point, create an ARG. Like, with all those characters that I slowly introduced into the channel.
I like it.
But for that, I would lead like a writing team, and some people that can like do stuff for me that I can plant evidence in the real world. So yeah, you can't an ARG doing an ARG alone is very hard. Mm-hmm. It's possible. It's like
exactly. So ARG, what would it contain, or what would it your vision of this be?
So the ARG would be about like finding out what LL Incorporated is and what is happening to the character, because it will never will never appear on the channel itself. Like nobody will know what LL. Maybe it will know like maybe he was the CEO or something like that, or stuff like that. But you will never know what the company actually is and what the entity and me are. Like this is not like a thing that will ever happen. Like it will always be like a little bit of mystery. But the ARG would like actually provide some context and give out information about the company and about the experiments and about the character I'm playing.
Cool. A mystery to be solved.
Yeah.
I'm ready to crack the case, Sherlock.
Yeah, I would like to do that at some point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be a lot of fun. And yes, the creativity, the mystery behind it.
Yeah, maybe even like have like a game in like a game like connected to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which would like the multipleception, right? Like multimedia connection between those things.
Yeah, that would be really cool to experience in that way.
I love when games do that, like have an ARG behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard about Trials, like the motorcycle game?
No.
Oh, you should like look up at least the long-running ARG they have.
Okay.
It's very interesting. Like it spans like probably a few years now, and people find out like constantly new stuff. But yeah, that's the whole mythos around the channel. And of course, I have my standard phrase, which is basically "Have a nice day" or "Take care of yourselves." And humans is basically the subscribers. So I've thought about this. Okay, maybe too much.
No. Like I said, like it's the culture behind what you're cultivating. You know, you're creating this story, and even though maybe it's not the story, all of it to light, there is something behind it, and it really adds to the flavor, the flair, the character. Oh, it's fantastic.
I think if you watch my videos in context, it becomes even weirder, because then you realize, oh, what the fuck is going on?
Yes. Man, I was wondering. I was like, yeah, you were wearing masks before it was cool. I really loved that. Or he. Someone was wearing masks before it was cool.
Well, okay, I can say one more thing about the mask. So, the mask will come off at some point, but the problem is right now is that the mask is basically covering the non-finished body. So the body is not completely done.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, the human, the host, is not done. It's not completely finished. So it has to be built
off of an unfinished mouth. Very impressive medically.
Yeah, it has to be finished, basically. So, and the eyes, for example, the glasses will not come off, because the eyes is basically, if they come off, you have to do some editing, which I can't do. Which is, you would see there's something in the body if the glasses would come off, because it would like be something around like, when like eyes glow, something like that, would be something in that direction.
Something beyond the eyes.
Yeah,
you can see through the eyes.
Yeah,
Oof, spooky. Yeah. Keep them all.
Yeah.
Too spooky for me.
It like you you have also like the whole water. You have the whole water and ocean and stuff. Like you clearly have thought about this. So yeah.
Yes. So like my following, they're all my crewmates. You can join the crew of the Jest Express. My stream is the ship that you're riding to sail the 7 galaxies as we sail, singing the songs of No Troubles, JestBubbles. Oh yeah.
No troubles.
Gotta have that culture, the mythos.
It's like beautify and like, bro fist, and like there's always like a little bit of history in the shows.
Right. And that's really what brings them all apart from each other. Like you were saying, like with the makeup tutorials, like it can't just be the content. Well, how will you present the content to make you as an interesting individual that, you know, presents it in a unique manner, something new to offer to the table? And, you know, you can create all of this whole new world along with it.
And you don't need to adhere to big corp, and you don't need to adhere to rules. So basically, you can create your own little world and channel and universe and whatever.
Right.
In comparison to TV, which is why like some channels on YouTube feel very artificial because they can't do it. They have to adhere to like those random laws, the random rules, guidelines. Yeah, and like there's something missing here.
Right.
Yeah.
The freedom of the internet. You can truly be whoever you like to be. Whoever is hidden underneath that icon, we'll never know. But what you present to everyone.
Yeah. so one last thing to get like a little bit political. As a woman, did you have any problems on the internet? Because I hear this a lot, but I met many women that didn't have like bad experiences. Of course, there are like, because people are dumb. But like, what is your experiences so far on the internet in general?
Right. I mean, huge question. My experiences on the internet. But I actually have something that strikes out at me. Actually, is actually I started going on VR, and experiencing VR is so fantastic to be able, like, really the future of video gaming. I think VR technologies, and so I love playing Beat Saber, all of these different games. But then I wanted experience. I wanted to enter the rabbit hole of going into VR chat. So this VR chat, the only way you can know who each other are by your voices. And so I've got you can tell I'm a female. You can tell I have a feminine voice right away.
No,
and
really?
No. I'm just a cat.
That makes sense.
But, yeah, and so for me, that was the most striking thing, where originally, you don't really know who each other are when communicating over this platform on VR chat. But then once you open your mouth and you talk, instantly you're identifiable by, a couple different things: your inflections, your accents, your manner of speaking, and how you speak, defines if you're more masculine or feminine. And so if instantly I'm speaking, it's kind of like bees going to honey or something. Just like, wait,
a female? What?
I hear a male voice. What? And it is more rare and on this VR chat. And so instantly people would react to me differently. People would be more interested, maybe, hey, can we be friends? And it kind of
it was Logan. It was Logan.
I didn't want to be his YouTube pal, and oh man, I'm so sorry, Logan. I'm not sorry at all. Really, who are you, and why are you doing this cold calling, rapid fire hello to all of the world through a robot? No. I don't like it. Present your genuine self, please, Logan. I will be your friend, but only if you will be human. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that stood out to me was VR chat. It's such a fun platform. Really, it is like what you're taking, the red pill or the blue pill. You're going down the rabbit hole of internet culture in VR chat, and you have to think on your feet. It's all chat based. You move around with the VR technology. It's a world like no else. Speaking of culture, whew, it's wild. It's intense, but so much fun. That immediate interactivity, I really enjoy that on Twitch. That's my preferred platform on the internet. And so getting that, immediate feedback with each other on a VR chat was awesome, spectacular. But it did have unintended consequences when people realize who is behind this screen could be from the female gender.
Oh, no. No, that's not possible.
I know, right?
Everybody knows women don't play games. Like,
exactly. Gamer girls? Come on. Name me your top 10 favorite Zelda characters. It's Legend of Link.
Legend of Link, exactly.
I mean, I'm just this Zelda protagonist fighting my way to save the princess, right?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's very interesting. And sometimes, I do not speak because of, the first impression. Okay. All of a sudden, will change. In fact, some of my avatar, I'm a bird instead, mostly because it's so adorable to be a bird, because I'm already a human, so that's interesting. So I'm just my way all
Yeah.
across the servers and enjoying life, because I am looked at differently just because of the tone, the quality, my voice. I am judged differently. I am treated differently.
I thought because I work in IT. In IT, it's like it doesn't matter if a man, woman, trans, whatever. You do the work, and if you do it good, you're praised. If you don't, fuck off. It doesn't mean anything. Like you can like I've especially programmers. You have people like in the World of Warcraft T-shirt, or like going running around in like in like sweatpants. Like nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives about shit about presentation, and nobody gives a shit about, especially not about how you look. It's about, can you do this work, and can you do it in a reasonable amount of time. And I thought this would like transition to like gamer culture in quotation marks, and say like nobody should give a shit except if you are funny and if you can play games. But apparently it's not that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gotten a lot better.
Yeah,
there's always this stigma, as you were saying, like, oh, a girl gamer, what? And on VR chat, what? You're a girl? But this is less and less, and that stereotype is slowly being done away with, but it is still definitely there, having that prejudice or that stereotype.
And I try to bring on the channel as many female gamers and content creators as possible, because I see often it's like they're so separated, like the two genders like so separated and don't talk to each other, and like you can barely do content without being shipped all the time, especially on Twitch. It's like immediate, like if you talk to a woman on Twitch, immediate ship, like immediate shipping those two characters together. Like they just talking to each other, but god damn it.
Right. Keep it platonic. Come on, calm down, take a shower. Let's go on and focus on the content, the quality.
I mean, the content creators, like, I don't know, like it's just so weird. Like it's the mix of internet culture meeting real life culture, because in real life it's like it seems the same. It's like, oh, you can't talk to a woman in a platonic way. It's always like. It's generally, I would say this is a general toxic thing, like of humans in general, that they can't distinguish sometimes between the one topic and the other topic. It's not fluent enough for them.
And it's really tough. You don't know how maybe to react to something or someone who is different. And if they're different, then do you treat them differently? Do you treat them the same? But now you're different, and now I'm overthinking it or underthinking it, and I don't even know anymore. And it can get to that level, and it's understandable, as long as we said, we're human, we're learning, we can change, we can progress together, and ultimately we're human above anything else. And well, maybe not all of us, but we are.
And I said this before, I would like to have like in every game like 10 big titty golf GFs in the chat, without them being.
All though.
Yeah, like everyone wants that, like, and that's why like it's like contradictory to how people behave. Like, don't you want like in every game those types of people? And like, yeah, we want that. Like, oh, then why the fuck are you behaving like a dick? It's contradictory to what the end goal should be, right? Like behaving like a normal human being, like a decent human being.
Yeah, let's go for human decency. That should be the baseline here, guys.
Yeah.
And it's fun, I try not to take things too seriously too. Like, for example, on the VR chat, it's fun in games. We're making a meme out of it. We're making jokes out of it. I'm not truly offended, and but
I can see how like the most people would be like discouraged by that, right? You understand like internet culture, like you're definitely just you are someone else already. Like you wouldn't like internet people are different already, so they understand like this stuff. But like I would say, general people don't. The majority of people don't.
Oh, it's very tough to understand, like an underlining culture, or what is expected, what is a joke, what is serious, what has malicious underlining, or maybe it's just more carefree and you're in it for some laughs and fun. And it's tough to get that, definitely, for any sort of, I think any culture, internet,
Yeah.
in real life, a career, a job, a hobby, just meeting friends or meeting random people at a bar or on a Discord server. It's, you
Yeah.
never know what to expect.
Yeah.
But as long
Uh,
as you're not, malicious, as long as you're trying to be genuine, honest, we make honest mistakes, we can learn from them. And as long as we can have that takeaway, we can have a good time together. And I believe in that. I believe in second chances. And so
yeah, that's why
we can.
me and humans have a very difficult relationship. Like, I understand you guys. At the same time, like, sometimes you behave like counterproductive. It's like, it's, you shouldn't do that.
Oh,
Why are
yeah.
you doing that? Why
Oh,
are
yeah.
you guys doing that?
Hypocrites. Yeah.
Why,
Definitely. But that's what keeps things interesting. We're constantly progressing and learning is the ultimate. So it'll produce drama, entertainment for sure, but as long as we've learned a little bit in the process, I say that's a success.
do you think? I don't think.
No? You do not think?
Yes, I don't think that's yeah, that's correct. But like, I don't think I don't think like humans have changed that much if you think about it. Like, we're barely past the Stone Age, and I think we still think like Stone Age
No,
people.
give us some credit. Give us some credit here. I think on the scale, I think morality has definitely, it's on the rise, morality, since the Stone Age. Any raping and pillaging is kind of looked down on today.
Yeah,
but
we
it
don't kill
wasn't
each other anymore. That's not completely true, but we don't kill each
No,
other like just because of menial shit. Like, that's correct.
Yeah. So as long as it's on that uphill battle, I think, hey, I'm rooting for the human race here. As long as slowly but surely our morality is
Oh,
increasing.
no, don't get me wrong. I like humans. Like, humans are great. I find them fascinating. I just like sometimes like, guys, like, I don't understand you guys sometimes. Why are you doing this?
Definitely. I don't understand this sometimes either. And I think we never will. But it's that mystery, like your own mystery, that keeps us wanting more, keeps us curious for trying to understand more if we can.
Can humans do it, finally? Progressing a little bit faster than, like, a snail's pace.
I'm okay with being a tortoise rather than a hare. It's alright.
Well, the tortoise definitely wins at the end, right? Actually, that's not true. The seagull wins at the end of the game. Because because the seagull just eats the tortoise.
Mine? Is it really?
Exactly.
Terrible.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you for 2 hours of your time. That's a lot of time.
So fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure and a blast talking with you.
I normally ask people for advice, but I can ask you for advice, like in general sense, and about voice acting. Like, if someone wants to start voice acting, what advice would you give them?
This is great. Yeah. So I've started out actually on fan projects voice acting. I'm really a big video game fan, YouTube fan projects. There's a really awesome website for finding casting calls for these smaller time castings where you can kind of just start to develop your own voice, your style, your intonation and accents, as well as sound quality, which is very important, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Acting and sound quality together provide some awesome, entertaining sounds. I'd recommend going castingcall.club is a great resource for finding fellow voice acting enthusiasts and different fan-made projects to kind of start dipping your toes into things. I'm actually, so for different video games, like indie games, for different animations, I'm actually starting a audiobook there, my latest project from there, a really awesome anime-inspired audiobook is called A Dorm Room Cat Girl. And so you get to try all these different roles. And in this one particular, I'm going to be the narrator, as well as the main characters. Aya, the cat girl. She's got the mouse boss, who always gets out of all kinds of capers and escapades. You've got Hiroshi, the cool kid who plays soccer. Murasaki, the prim and proper rich girl, and Ritsu, the mysterious friend who's a tech genius and a hermit. So there's so many fantastic roles you can find here, and this is just one of my projects I found on this castingcall.club, and I'll be looking forward to actually the audiobook will be coming out I think next month actually, which will be exciting. But that's really where I got my start with small time projects, kind of like sprints of voice acting, little roles here and there. And now I'm actually finally on the marathon run of helping create the voices of this fantastic audiobook. So you can look forward to that in the future. And if you'd like to dabble yourself, check out the website. My name on there is Jess Floam. You can actually say I've referred you. It's JESSF as in Frank, LOAM as in Mary. And that's my name, my title for casting different voice acting roles I've been in, if you're interested in checking me out as well. Or you can also find me on Twitch if you have any questions, advice for voice acting, music, or just a friendly person to talk to that you'd like to have a conversation with all the way across the world. You can find me at JestBubbles. It's a No Troubles JestBubbles on Twitch.
No trouble, just bubbles.
Yep.
That's better than my voice line. Shit.
What's that?
Mine was, take care of yourselves, humans, and have a nice day.
Oh, I like that though. You know, it's genuine. You're talking to all humans. I like to end my streams. I like to end them with a cute, like, see you later, alligator. I say, see you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile. Peace out, Girl Scout. Don't trip, Choco Chips. So long, Donkey Kongs. Sayonara, mi capybaras. Scoot, scoot, my little newts. Take care, my polar bears. See you soon, my baboons. And as always, no troubles, just bubbles.
This is where are going to end the recording now. This is the perfect end.